You've summarized it amazingly. That's such a concise and clear summary. And I think a lot like your book in terms of the structure and the way that you've set it up, because what you're saying is what I think is going through a lot of people's minds, a lot of executives. There's something in the background, but they just don't connect with it enough. And but when you start to connect with it, then it just starts to fill you up more and more. It becomes fulfilling, right?
And this is, and I just posted a video about this yesterday. People want to look it up on my Instagram page, and I call this sovereign happiness. Now, sovereign happiness is happiness regardless of what plays out in our outer world. Now, our mind and our, through our subconscious programming and our belief systems, and, which is basically the software programming that has been instilled in the early years of a childhood, has this idea that our happiness is a product of what happens in our outer world. So if we're in a beautiful marriage and we have all the cars and houses and jobs and careers and money we want, now we're happy, right? That's what the world tells us. That's what society tells us, like that's where you find your happiness. Now there's a big reason for that, because that's really good for business, right? Because you're constantly seeking and chasing the next thing. And advertising plays on that subconscious mind, it plays it like a fiddle, right? Now, the reality is that actually happiness, joy, fulfillment, all the beautiful qualities that we want to draw into our life actually all live in our inner world unabashedly by whatever happens in our outer world.
Yep.
Now, this is also what all the great masters and teachers talked about. Yep. Now, here's the problem with the ancient wisdom traditions and religious interpretations, religious scholars. So the Bible, for instance, is an absolutely epic book. Epic. It's been repenned a few times. It's been edited a little bit much, but if you go to most original version you can get your hands on. Now, here's the thing, and this is what I'm talking about as well, right? Words are just content. Mm-hmm. Now, when we talk about the metaphysical, the spiritual, the religious, if you wish, right? We're talking about that which is beyond words, beyond content. And so all religious teachings, all wisdom traditions talk in symbolism. They don't talk in literal terms. If you read the Bible literally, right, you can come away with some really distorted views, because there are stories about stoning people and all kinds of stuff, and that wasn't Jesus's teachings. But the history of humanity has passed on knowledge and wisdom through storytelling, symbolism. When you go to all the indigenous cultures, and there's here in the US and in Canada too, we have dismissed and ruined and completely ignored the wisdom of the indigenous people. Now it's coming, there's a rise in it, right? Because we're realizing now, like, shit, these guys, they had some epic wisdom that can actually solve some of our biggest problems. Because, they had this notion, we don't inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. Now, that's an indigenous wisdom proverb. Now, if you actually sit on that for just a moment, right, that changes everything. Mm-hmm. This biosphere, right, that we are ruining, we're on this bullet train to extinction, really. We have a few decades to turn this around. How does it change your mindset when you actually intrinsically connect with the notion in your heart that we are borrowing this earth? It's not ours. And when we read the Bible and we have dominion of the earth, Now, there's a translation issue there, right? Because it wasn't dominion in the way we interpret that word.
Yes.
We are stewards. And then in the two religions that are really ruling this world, which is the religion of money and the religion of science, right? Disconnected from the heart, both of them. So in the religion of science, we are now cheering on, and I love Elon Musk, but we're cheering him on. We're going to Mars. We're going to colonize Mars. Now there's an intellectual adolescence in that. And how about we become good stewards of this planet first? Why do you think it's a good idea that we, humanity, that has made a complete, excuse my French, fucking mess of this world, why should we be colonizing the next planet? I mean, just like, why don't you apply that scientific brain power in solving the biggest challenges we have here, right? Which actually helps most of humanity, because we can't ship 8 billion people to Mars no matter how hard you try. We can't build enough rockets to do it. So, like, you know, let's get real here, right? But this is a disconnection from the heart. We're lost in the cobwebs of our mind. You know, this is like scientific folly, and we should be applying this to this earth. I don't know if I answered the question, but you know, when we go in the heart, we tap into a different reservoir of intelligence, the intelligence of life itself. And it's and I will point you here because it ties in exactly what you teach. You know, the language of the heart is feeling, sensing, knowing, and intuiting, right? And this is how we tap in. When we gain fluency in that language of the heart, which is much more subtle than the mind, now we're tapping into the intelligence of life itself. Now, the intelligence of life itself is not your memory capacity of this little supercomputer here. Now we're tapping into the intelligence of the entire universe, which we have a direct connection with energetically, right? We're opening up the channels. And this is like, you know, you having a laptop with a you know, a single hard drive, or you have a laptop connected to the internet, right? So nowadays, you know, we can Google anything we want to know. We don't have to memorize all this stuff. It doesn't have to all be on our laptop, which is our brain. We need to know how to use Google. Well, our heart, in a way, you know, I hate to compare it that way, is really Google. And so when we learn how to language of the heart, now we can tap into this intelligence of life itself. Now that opens a whole different world. And we find out that our inner world is just an incredible oasis. And we can connect with happiness, connect with joy, connect with abundance. We can connect with fulfillment, with purpose, with, you know, all those things, because it already lives within us. And when we do that, now what's happening is that we're going to see this reflected in a holographic way in our life in the outside world. So we become actually very powerful creators. And this is what I'm talking about when I spoke about, you know, if you really want to change the world, change yourself first.
If you would like to watch more videos like this, then please subscribe to my channel below. Once again, my name is Stephen Dobos, and you can download a free centering exercise. The information is in the description box below.